Breaking news. Milton strengthens into a Category 4 hurricane, triggers storm surge warnings for Florida's Gulf Coast. Be prepared, not scared. Let's just jump right in. Considered a life-threatening storm, and life-threatening storm surges are expected to hit Florida's Gulf Coast this week with the arrival of Hurricane Milton, upgraded early Monday into a Category 4 hurricane over the southern Gulf of Mexico. The storm first strengthened into a Category 3 hurricane by 7 a.m. and by 9 a.m. Eastern Time, rapidly intensified into a Category 4, the National Hurricane Center said. All right, let's read the bulletin directly from NOAA. Hurricane Milton Advisory number 10. Milton continuing to rapidly intensify, forecast to become a Category 5 hurricane. A hurricane watch is in effect for the Florida Gulf Coast from Chokoloskee to the mouth of the Suwannee River, including Tampa Bay. Are you concerned about the economy? Rightfully so. I know a lot of people that are. Be prepared, not scared. There's one asset that stands the test of time. That's gold. For centuries, gold has been a hedge against inflation, volatility, and economic instability. With the Gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments, you can harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over your existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you can enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. Diversify your portfolio with a tangible asset that has real value. Setting up your gold IRA has never been easier with Noble Gold Investments and LeapProjectGold.com. Its streamlined process and expert guidance makes it smooth and simple. This election year, don't let election volatility and uncertainty keep you up at night. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. When you convert your 401 or IRA through Noble Gold Investments, if you qualify, you will be gifted this beautiful, solid silver 10-ounce American flag bar behind me, or if you prefer, you can get these limited edition Trump rounds. 10 of these, total of 10 ounces. Your choice, give them a call, 1-877-646-5347, and let's get back to the podcast right now. Wow, listen to this. The discussion and outlook of Hurricane Milton was located near latitude 21.7 north, longitude 91.7 west. Milton is moving towards the east-southeast near 9 miles per hour, and eastward to east-southeastward motion is forecast through tonight, followed by a turn towards the east and northeast on Tuesday and Wednesday. On the forecast track, Milton is forecast to move near or just north of the Yucatan Peninsula today and Tuesday, then cross the eastern Gulf of Mexico and approach the west coast of the Florida Peninsula by Wednesday. Data from NOAA and the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that the maximum sustained winds have increased to nearly 155 miles per hour with higher gusts. Milton is a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Milton is forecast to become a Category 5 hurricane later today and become a large hurricane over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 80 miles. The estimated minimum central pressure is 933 MB, 27.55 inches based on Air Force Reserve drop zone data. The hazards affecting land, key messages for Hurricane Milton can be found in the tropical cyclone discussion under AWIPS header MIATCDAT4 and WMO header WTNT44KNHC, and on the web at hurricanes.gov. Let's take a look at that, shall we? Let's see what they're telling us right now. Hurricane Milton forecast discussion. Milton's remarkable rapid intensification is continuing. Satellite images show a small eye within the very cold central cloud cover, and the eye is becoming better defined. Data from the Mexican radar and Sabancui show a small closed eye with an intense eye wall presentation. The Hurricane Hunter aircraft earlier reported a peak flight level wind of 146 KT, and drop zone data show that the pressure has fallen to around 933 MB, which is down about 22 MB in 4 hours. The initial wind speed is set to 135 KT, which is an 80 KT increase in 24 hours, only eclipsed by Wilma 2005 and Felix 2007 in our records. The hurricane is still moving east Southeastward, now about 8 kT. Global models continue to insist that Milton will turn eastward soon as the frontal low pressure area over the northeastern Gulf of Mexico departs. The new forecast near Mexico is about the same as the previous one, but is close enough to bring hurricane force winds to the northern portion of Yucatan Peninsula. Later, a new mid-level trough dropping into the northwestern Gulf of Mexico should then cause Milton to move northeastward to northeastward at a faster forward speed. The latest model fields are a bit left of the previous runs, and the official NHC track forecast is shifted to the north. This forecast is close to a consensus of the latest GFS, ECMWF, and regional hurricane models. Note that this track is closer to the model fields rather than the model trackers, which appear to be too far south. Milton is likely to become a Category 5 hurricane later today with light shear and very warm waters in its path. By tomorrow, its intensity should be dictated by any eye wall replacement cycles, which will likely cause the system to gradually weaken but grow larger. After 36H, Milton is expected to encounter a much less favorable environment with strong shear and dry air entrainment. Therefore, some weakening is anticipated before the hurricane reaches the Florida Gulf Coast. However, the system is still likely to be a large and powerful hurricane at landfall in Florida with life-threatening hazards at the coastline and well inland. After landfall, Milton should weaken and start extratropical transition, which should be complete by 96H. So what are the key messages? Damaging hurricane force winds are expected across portions of the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. A life-threatening storm surge with damaging waves is also likely along portions of the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. There is an increasing risk of life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds for portions of the west coast of the Florida Peninsula beginning Tuesday night or early Wednesday. Storm surge and hurricane watches are now in effect for portions of the west coast of the Florida Peninsula, and residents in that area should follow any advice given by local officials and evacuate if told to do so. Areas of heavy rainfall will impact portions of Florida today, well ahead of Milton, with heavy rainfall more directly related to the system expected later on Tuesday through Wednesday night. This rainfall will bring the risk of considerable flash, urban, and aerial flooding, along with the potential for moderate to major river flooding. Will you just look at it? So there you go, folks. Let's look at some of the graphics here. Let's go to the wind speed probabilities. Tropical storm force wind speed probabilities, you can see right here. These graphics show probabilities of sustained 1-minute average surface wind speeds equal to or exceeding 39 miles per hour. These wind speed probability graphics are based on the official National Hurricane Center track, intensity and wind radii forecasts, and on NHC forecast error statistics for those forecast variables during recent years. Wonderful. Okay, so hurricane force wind speed probabilities. The time of the tropical cyclone center location at the bottom of the graphic will be 3 hours earlier than the time of the current advisory. The forecast cycle for each advisory begins 3 hours prior to the issues of the advisory products. These graphics show probabilities of sustained 1-minute average surface wind speeds equaling or exceeding 74 miles per hour. Hello. Let's look at the rainfall forecast. Rainfall amounts of 5 to 10 inches with localized totals up to 15 inches are expected across portions of the Florida Peninsula and the Keys through Wednesday night. This rainfall brings the risk of considerable flash, urban, and aerial flooding, along with the potential of moderate to major river flooding. Milton will also produce rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches with isolated totals around 6 inches across northern portions of the Yucatan Peninsula. We'll keep you posted. Let's look at the flash flooding potential here. Wow. Look at how much of Florida is under a flood watch or a flood risk. At least 40%. You can see the graph right here. Let's look at, okay, so day 1. Day 2. Day 3. So day 3 is going to be, it looks like, the most intense according to these graphs. Look at this. Look at how much of Florida this graph says risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. Look at how much is under at least 40% possible. Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at the arrival, the times here. Let's see what we've got going on. So arrival times, it looks like now they're expected early Wednesday morning, extreme tropical storm force winds to hit Florida. Look at the peak surge here. Here's the peak storm surge forecast. Wow, up to 12 feet. Look at that. How much the coast is getting hammered here. Much of the coast is under a storm surge warning and storm surge watch. Here's the cone probabilities, coastal watches, warnings, and forecast cone for the storm center. You can see Central Florida is right in the eye of Hurricane Milton here. Current information, maximum sustained winds, 155 miles per hour. Movement is east-southeast at 9 miles per hour. We'll keep you posted, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up, Buttercup. Now, with all this rain, I mean, I would think that we've got plenty of rain right now, right? Like everything's all good. But check this out. This is kind of spooky. Euro News, world's rivers drying up. World Meteorological Organization issues stark climate warning. Last year was the driest for global rivers in 30 years, while glaciers suffered the largest mass loss in 50 years. Last year was the driest year for global rivers in 33 years. 33, huh? Warns a new report coordinated by the World Meteorological Organization. According to the State of Global Water Resources report, the past 5 years have seen below normal conditions for river flows and reservoir inflows worldwide, increasing stress on global water supplies. The annual report paints the big picture of the world's water cycle, from extreme floods to extreme droughts, from rivers and reservoirs to glaciers and groundwater. It brings together data from meteorological and hydrological services, data centers, hydrological modeling community members, and supporting organizations such as NASA and the German Research Center for Geosciences. German NASA. Water is the canary in the coal mine of climate change, says WMO Secretary General Celeste Solo. We receive distress signals in the form of increasingly extreme rainfall, floods, and droughts, which wreak a heavy toll on lives, ecosystems, and economies. Melting ice and glaciers threaten long-term water security for many millions of people, and yet we are not taking the necessary urgent action. 2023 showed mostly drier than normal river discharge, the volume of water flowing through a river at a specific point in time. Over 50% of global catchment areas showed abnormal conditions. Drought and reduced river discharge affected large parts of northern, central, and South America, with the Mississippi showing record low water levels and the Amazon recording its lowest ever level. The weather's going crazy, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Oh, yeah, and get this, CBS News. Water supplier American Water Works says systems hacked. Wonderful. American Water Works, a supplier of drinking water and wastewater services to more than 14 million people on Monday, said hackers had breached its computer networks and systems. The Camden, New Jersey-based utility became aware of the unauthorized activity on Thursday and took protective steps, including shutting down certain systems. American Water Works stated in a regulatory filing, the company does not believe its facilities or operations were impacted by the cybersecurity incident, but is currently unable to predict the full impact, it stated. So I would like to know, see, I predicted this at the end of last year. I predicted there would be hacking into utility companies. A multitude of utility companies have been hacked. Now our water, what could they do if they wanted to? What could potentially to a utility company that serviced millions of people's water? Just a question I'm asking, because the thoughts that are going through my mind on what could potentially happen could be quite frightening. You know what else is interesting is Mount Adams. I brought this up a couple of times, but Mount Adams has seen 6 earthquakes around the region over the past several weeks. And Mount Adams usually only has 1 earthquake every couple of years or a few years. So what's going on around Mount Adams? It's still in the green zone, saying normal parameters for the area. So like no imminent volcano doom explosion right now. Is it just recharging? What's going on? There's been a lot of activity around Mount St. Helens as well as Mount Adams since 2023. Mount St. Helens has had an uptick in earthquake activity around the area. And with the article that came out a couple months ago that said that the Earth's core is slowing down so much it's potentially reversed. This was a white paper, a scientific white paper that came out, and several news articles responded to it after that paper that came out. But there could be a lot more on the horizon with potential for volcanic activity in the Pacific Northwest. And there's so many people out there. May the force be with you. May the force be with you. Next article, this is from New York Post. North Carolina mountain towns forever changed by Hurricane Helene's destruction. It's just very, very sad. Mountainside North Carolina towns have been forever changed and cut off from the world by the wrath of Hurricane Helene. Residents calling the destruction absolutely overwhelming. Chimney Rock is just destroyed. It's forever changed, said 59-year-old Brett Johnson, a resident of the small tourist town about an hour southeast of Asheville. There were beautiful homes all along here, where now there's just dirt and rock, he told the Post. Where that bank should be, there was a brewery, Mexican restaurants, hotels. They're all just gone. Rather than being flooded with tourists, Chimney Rock has spent the days since Hurricane Helene deluged with cops, cleanup crews, and engineers from the North Carolina Department of Transportation mapping the damage wrought by the storm that left at least 232 dead across the southeast. On a beautiful day like this place would be packed with tourists, packed. But we're the only ones here. All our neighbors left, Johnson said. And the few, those who remain like Johnson and his wife, have referred to themselves as the sole survivors. There were a few residents around cleaning up their places and gathering what they could, but they looked like they were still traumatized, said 53-year-old Betty Cooper, who lives down the road in Lake Lure. Even though it's been a week, they still looked shocked. Chimney Rock is utterly devastated, Cooper said. Most everything's gone. The land's not even there anymore. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. It's insane. This is a happy town. It's where people come to have fun. Everybody's used to seeing everyone happy, not this destruction and devastation. May the force be with you, folks. May the force be with you. I hope that things get better soon. So, folks, we will keep you posted on the updates. What are you doing to be prepared, not scared? Thank you for watching. Hit the bell. Be well. Check us out on Patreon and LeakProject.com and be the change the world needs to see because it starts with you.